Dirk Nowitzki is one of the greatest to ever do it. A top 3 power forward of all time, he had impeccable footwork with his post moves, and he had a shot that was unblockable. But while Dirk was amazing, he never really had a chance at a title until 2006, but the Dallas Mavericks would lose that series after giving up a 2-0 lead to the Miami Heat. Controversy aside, it was a heartbreaking loss for Dirk as he finally made it to the finals, but he fell short. But the following season, he was able to bounce back and play at a high caliber level in 2007. He would lead the Dallas Mavericks to a 67-15 record, which was the best in the West and the best in the NBA. This resulted in Dirk winning the MVP award, and he was looking to redeem himself, but the Mavs would lose in the first round to the infamous We Believe Warriors matchup, in one of the biggest upsets in NBA history. Then that is when Dirk had a string of bad luck, because the season after, they would lose in the first round in 5 to the Chris Paul-led Hornets in 2008. Then next year, he would lose in the second round to Carmelo Anthony and the Denver Nuggets in 5 games in 2009. Then the following year, they would lose again in the first round to the San Antonio Spurs in 2010. So Dirk definitely had a string of bad luck for 4 straight years, but Dirk was ready for 2011 and hoped for a better outcome. Dirk and the Mavs would come in and play like a well-oiled machine, and Dirk was again playing at his absolute best. While not playing at an MVP level like in 2007, he was still playing at a top 10 level, and he would be named an All-Star for the 10th straight season. The Mavericks would finish the year with a 57-25 record, tied with the second best record in the Western Conference with the Lakers. But it was time for the Mavs to shift into a higher gear as the playoffs were underway, and Dirk would have the hardest road to an NBA championship I've ever seen. The Mavs would be matched up against the Portland Trail Blazers, who were led by LaMarcus Aldridge, and the Mavs would have a tough series as they would both trade home games at 2 apiece, but the Mavs would close out in Game 6. So they would move on to the next round where they would be matched up against the Los Angeles Lakers, who were the defending champions led by Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol. So no one expected the Mavs to be an issue for them, and in Game 1, it looked to be just that. Kobe was having his way with the Mavs, and the Lakers were up. But then something strange happened. The Mavs were actually hanging with them, and they would eventually win Game 1 in a very close game that came down to the last shot. But hey, the Mavs stole one game. That happens all the time. The Lakers would probably bounce back in Game 2.
Stunner pulled off by the Dallas Mavericks here at Staples in Los Angeles.
Oh, so the Mavericks are up 2-0. Okay, well, hey, the Lakers were down many times before, so they just got to tie the series up at 2 apiece, and they'll be fine.
Mike, thanks so much. Dirk, congratulations. Just how confident is this team right now?
Oh, now they're up 3-0. Oh, okay, is this how the script is supposed to go? I thought the Mavs were supposed to be down 3-0, not the other way around. Well, maybe the Lakers might come back from 3-0. I mean, who knows? I mean, stranger things have happened, but, okay.
Up for you, but now you have a new identity. Not only the three-point shooting, and that's the record.
Okay, what just happened? The Dallas Mavericks pulled off an upset that no one expected. They not only beat the defending champions, they swept them. Dirk and the Mavs were just too much, and in the closeout game, Dirk didn't even have to do much. Jason Terry, Peja Stojakovic, and JJ Barea helped close out Game 4. I don't think anyone saw that coming at all, and the Mavs were definitely on everyone's radar now. The Mavericks would move on to the conference finals for the first time since 2006, and Dirk was almost there. The Mavs would be matched up against a young OKC team led by KD and Russell Westbrook. The Thunder were ready to take a crack at the title, but Dirk would just go supernova against the Thunder. He was given a second chance at making it to the finals, and he was not going to pass up another opportunity. While not single-handedly, he did everything he could to put the Thunder away. They did so in 5 games, and the Mavericks were back in the NBA Finals, and Dirk would have another chance at a title, and another chance at revenge, because their opponent was none other than the Miami Heat, the biggest challenge yet, and they looked unstoppable in the playoffs. They were led by LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. This seemed like this series may have already been decided, as no one, and I mean no one, expected the Miami Heat to lose this series. But the Dallas Mavericks would accept this challenge, especially Dirk, because I think he knew that this was his last chance at becoming a champion. So Game 1 arrived, and the Dallas Mavericks and the Miami Heat would trade blows with each other. Dirk was having a great game, and the Big Three were dominating, and it was close until the Heat pulled away, winning by 8 points. While close, the Heat were able to get it done, but Game 2 would be a different story, as the Heat were going off, and they were dominating for the entire game, and in the fourth, it seemed like they were going to go up 2-0. But then the Mavericks would go on a 22-6 run, and they would pull off a historic comeback in the fourth quarter, and with the game on the line, Dirk had the ball, and
7 to shoot. Nowitzki
Drives with it, underneath lefty layup, banks it in with 3.6 remaining.
Dallas Mavericks would tie the series in a miraculous turn of events, and the Heat were definitely stunned. Then Game 3 would be a duel between Dwayne Wade and Dirk Nowitzki like it was 2006 all over again. They would go back and forth with one another, and the game was very close, and it was coming down to the wire, and LeBron had the ball, and
They switch on. LeBron James, Bosh the open jumper, puts it in. Chris Bosh, a clutch basket there.
the Heat would win Game 3, and they would manage to go up 2-1 in the series. And the Dallas Mavericks definitely had some doubters, and then things just got worse. Dirk would have a flu before Game 4, and this was definitely not good. And Dwayne Wade and LeBron would both mock Dirk Nowitzki for being sick.
Did y'all hear me cough? I think I'm sick. This weather, man.
So Dirk definitely had more motivation going into this game, and while he had a struggle in Game 4, his teammates were keeping the game close. But the Heat were not going away, and the game was becoming out of reach. But then the unsung hero, Jason Terry, gave the Mavericks life, and he would help the Mavs come back to keep it a close game yet again. Then while up 1, Dirk had the ball in a crucial moment in the fourth quarter, and while he did not have the best game, he was still giving it his all.
He's going too early. Drives underneath, layup, he puts it in! Nowitzki makes it a three-point game!
The Heat had a chance to tie the game but failed, and the Mavericks would tie the series at 2 apiece. Dirk may have been sick, but he showed the heart of a champion, battling through and helping the Mavs stay alive in this series. But Game 5 would be a game that was important for both teams, as whoever won this had all the momentum. The Heat and the Mavs were having another game where it was close between the two. Both teams needed this win, and it seemed like the Heat were running away with this game again. But nope, Dirk and the Mavericks would battle back, and they would take over and put the game out of reach for the Miami Heat. And the Mavs were now 1 win away from winning the championship. The fact that the Miami Heat were up all 5 games, and yet the Mavericks were still giving a fight for each of them, proved that the Mavericks could hang with teams like the Miami Heat, and they definitely showed that they belonged in the NBA Finals. And with Game 6 coming underway, this was it. Dirk was now 1 win away from righting the wrongs of 2006, and he was not going to let anyone stop him, especially the Miami Heat. Game 6 came, and while the Heat, especially LeBron, tried to put up a fight to force the Game 7, it was just a little too late, as the Mavs were not losing this game at all. Jason Terry, JJ Barea, Chandler, and Dirk, they all wanted this championship, and Dirk would finally get his revenge, and he would finally become a champion.
And the celebration will begin. The Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. The first title in franchise history.
And the MVP of this series with an average of 26 points and almost 10 rebounds, Dirk Nowitzki.
Dirk Nowitzki pulled off the biggest title run I think I've ever seen. He beat the Lakers, the Thunder, and then the Miami Heat, which no one expected. The Mavs should not have even gotten this far, but Dirk, along with his teammates, managed to prove everyone wrong and put themselves in a position to win. While Dirk would only win 1 championship, this ring would be one of the greatest championships ever. He earned it the hard way, and he became an all-time great in this moment. Dirk and the Mavericks were able to beat a juggernaut team like the Miami Heat, which no one expected. Everyone thought that the Miami Heat were unbeatable, but Dirk, against all odds, was able to pull off the impossible